Okay, we're going to get this meeting called to order. Tonight is December 2nd, 2025. It's 7:05 in the City Council chambers for our regular Marion City Council meeting. Welcome, everybody. And like I said, we'll call the meeting to order and begin with prayer from the Indiana Wesleyan University men's cross country head coach, Brody Bueller. Welcome to the microphone. Brody, come on up to the microphone and press the red button if you just lead us in prayer.
Father, thank you so much for the opportunity that it is to meet here tonight. The verse that's been on my heart, just to pray over this city, Grant County, is just 2 Chronicles 7:14, that if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will heal their land. And so, God, thank you just for the reminder that there are just people here in this county who love you and who want to submit to you, and who are gifted, who have been given so many different giftings and talents in this city to protect our city, to educate just the younger generation of people. And I just thank you for the leadership that you've placed here in this town to just steward it well. And so, God, I pray that you give them wisdom to just continue to steward just resources well, just as we desire just to seek your face, to turn from our wicked ways. And God, that you will just turn and incline your ear towards us when we do that. And so thank you just for tonight in this space. And I pray that, Holy Spirit, that you just invade this room. And we love you a lot. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you. And the Pledge of Allegiance by Council Vice President Gary Fordyce, Sr.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you so much, Coach and Vice President Fordyce. We'll go ahead and call roll call. Madam Clerk.
Kane.
Here.
Marshall.
Here.
Fordyce.
Here.
Brunner.
Here.
Klein.
Here.
Devine.
Here.
Witten.
Here.
Cowgill.
Here.
McKinley.
Here. All right. Moving into tonight's community spotlight, the Indiana Wesleyan University men's cross country 2025 NAIA National Champions. I feel like I need to get my announcer voice out for that one. Just super excited to have him here. Obviously, Coach was the opening prayer. If Coach, you could come up to the front, and any or all of the cross-country runners that were part of that national championship, come all the way to the front. Whoever, it could be all of you, part of you. Yeah, whatever. Come on up. We got plenty of room back here. We want to recognize all of you. Yeah. I recognize you. You went to Marion, didn't you? Yep. All right. What's your name?
Mike.
Mike, that's right. Harrington? Yep. Got a giant alumni in here. Well, welcome to the council chambers, gentlemen. It's so glad to see you all here. NAIA National Champions. That's a pretty good tone and a ringer. You'll always be able to brag about that. So I just want to introduce the coach here and make sure, Coach, what would you like to say about your team?
Yeah, this has been a team that just has had two goals since really the year 2000, and those two goals are to grow in faith, grow in relationship with Jesus, and seek His face. And this has been a team that has been on the pursuit of that. That there's no arrival. That there's been just a lot of guys that have loved one another and continue to just seek His face, and also just to pursue excellence. This has been a team that has worked their tails off. We calculated somewhere between 1,200 and 1,700 miles that these guys put in over just the summer. 6 months of time to accomplish this goal. This year they went 161-0, and so undefeated this season. And so when you just think about the teams that we got to compete against, and just the hard work that they put in, it's just really impressive. This is the fastest team that we've had in school history. We've had records broken, and just really thankful for the foundation of athletes that have come to Indiana Wesleyan, coaches, Coach Foss, John Foss, who was here for 37 years, got to help lead and facilitate this team to make the culture that it is today, and we're just really thankful for what these guys have done, but been more impressed by just their posture and thankfulness that they recognize that they've been given a gift, and that gift is to worship, and this is just a vehicle that, after their 4 years here, they'll get to go out into the real world, adulthood, and just be lights for the kingdom. So, yeah, just really proud of them.
And maybe serve on city council somewhere, maybe? Yeah. If we could just go around and just state your name and where you're from real quickly. You can start over there, yeah.
Yeah, Wes Kendo. I'm from Toledo, Ohio.
I'm Luke Pohl. I'm from Canton, Michigan. I'm Luke Kincaid. I'm from Bremen, Indiana.
I'm Mike Harrington. I'm from Marion, Indiana.
I'm Gavin Mearsman from Zeeland, Michigan.
I'm Hunter Wasnick. I'm from Wasion, Ohio.
I'm Josh Bainbridge, and I'm from Liberty, North Carolina.
I'm Brody Byler. I'm from Pennsylvania.
Trenton Sweet. I'm from Converse, Indiana.
I'm Braden Sweet from Wabash.
Trevor Schwartz, Decatur, Indiana.
I'm Wyatt Longstreth, and I'm from Atlanta, Georgia.
Evan Long, Tipton, Indiana.
Ethan Nix, and I'm from Fishers, Indiana.
Grant Flora from Ligonier, Indiana.
Ryan Freeze from Buffalo, New York.
Ben Griley from Fishers, Indiana.
Trip Wingate. I'm from Creston, Ohio.
David Yaller, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Evan Nicolas, Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Jonathan Albright, Fishers, Indiana.
Tommy Ott, Louisville, Kentucky.
Trenton Well, Burbank, Ohio.
Chase Cates, Richmond, Indiana.
Noah McPhail, Warsaw, Indiana.
Alec Foster, Fishers, Indiana.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Everyone give them a round of applause. Don't go anywhere yet. Yeah. As I've said, Indiana Wesleyan is a big part of Marion, right? So you're at the Marion City Council meeting. We're IWU. IWU is Marion, and we're just so glad you chose Indiana Wesleyan and chose Marion, Indiana. And we're very, very proud of you. I think this is your first national championship, right? For cross country for the men's, right? That's incredible. You can always say we were the first, right? And then next year you could say that was your second, the following your third, right? Okay, just checking your mindset. So anyways, thank you so much. Any other council members want to share anything? If not, we'll get a photo. Okay, sounds good. If you guys
I think
go ahead.
what we need to realize, they were not doing real well that day. Coach, did somebody really step up for you in the second half of that race?
We have a guy, his name's Grant Flora. We've been calling him Grant Florida. Nationals is in Florida, so
okay.
now he gets the name Grant Florida now.
Gotcha.
But yeah, we were in 10th place, I believe, at the K, around there. And then, yeah, we just continued to move up. And, yeah, it was really cool just to see the team just finish strong all the way through. And around the 7th K, it's an 8K race, which is 4.97 miles. At that 7th K, we took the lead. And I knew going into that last K that if we kept passing people, we would get the victory. And so it was cool to see them just finish strong all the way through the finish for the win.
Great. Thank you so much. Thanks for that, Councilman Brunner. Of course, leave it up to Councilman Brunner for a sports commentary. I appreciate that. So, gentlemen, if you could squeeze in, maybe in double deck it, we're going to get a photo with all of you and the council here.
I can. All right. All right, everybody. 1, 2, 3. Let's get the trophy up there. There you go. All right, let's try this again. Okay. All right, let's try this again. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
let them clear the room here.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Doctor. All right, tonight we're going to feature a special person under the City Employee Spotlight. I will say he's been on the radar for Spotlight for quite some time. We just had other people that we wanted to get ahead that were already on the list. But Captain Adam Trexler has been on the radar for a while for his accomplishments, not only at the fire department, but outside of the fire department. So Captain, if you want to come on up to the front, all the way, you know the drill, all the way to the front here. So Captain Trexler works at Station 5, and he is a pretty fit guy, if you couldn't tell. And the reason he's pretty fit is, one, he has a strong commitment to working out, but also he recently, or this year, has been competing. The official title is the Firefighter Challenge Championship Series, correct?
That is correct.
And it's a national competition
That is correct.
that firefighters men and women can compete in. And I don't even know all the things he did. I saw a couple videos, but he actually won Rookie of the Year for the entire competition on the men's side, which that's a big, big deal. I mean, here from, we'll say, little old Marion, Indiana, he's representing us very, very well on the national stage. I do want to share some comments from Chief Curtis Garr. He said, Captain Trexler's competition achievements this year are most definitely spotlight worthy. It's a testament to his commitment to leadership, hard work, training, diet, and mental toughness. The Marion Fire Department is very proud of Adam, and we wish him further success in both competitions and within Marion Fire Department. That was Chief Garr. So, Adam, can you just tell us a little bit of like what all you had to do in that competition? What does that look like?
So it's the same competition every event. Nothing changes for men or women. You wear your full turnout gear, wearing your SCBA. You carry up a 42-pound high-rise pack up 5 stories. You throw it in a box, then you hoist up a hose roll, which is with the rope and everything about 48, 49 pounds. You can skip stairs going up, you can't skip them coming down. Once you come down, you hit a 165-pound I-beam with a sledgehammer. You come off that, you sprint down, zigzag through, grab a 1 3/4 line. Once the slack is completely out of it, it weighs about 230 pounds. Spray a target, and then you pick up a 175-pound dummy and drag it 106 feet, fastest time win. So
That's impressive, yeah. So what was your time?
my best time this year was, I think it was 146, 145.
1 minute and 46?
Yep. Yep. And believe it or not, there's
Okay.
guys out there that 144.
Oh, who's that out in the audience? Oh, your wife definitely knows your best time, so that's good that you know that, yeah.
But yeah, there's guys out there, especially because it was a world event too. So there's national and then a worlds too, where everybody all across the world comes and competes as well. A guy put up a 1:14. Minute 14.
Wow.
So.
Well, that's good, but
Yes.
but you definitely impressed us with the 144. So
So the goal is still under. So there's a prestigious award of called the Lion's Den. If you get it under in my age group, under the age of 40, a minute, anything under a minute 40, you're inducted into that. So that is my goal. That was my goal. I was real close at nationals, fell a little short right at the finish line. So we got more goals this year.
are you going to do it again next year and
Yeah,
keep
I'm gonna
going? Yeah.
compete as long as I can. Love the sport. Just love the atmosphere, the brotherhood, the sisterhood, all that together. It doesn't matter if you're competing next to somebody in the other lane. At the end of the race, they want to see you succeed as well. So I wish that would transition more over to the actual fire service better. But I feel like me as a leader, I can help transition that. So.
Well, you're setting a great example, not just physical fitness, but mental toughness, and we really appreciate your service to the city. How long have you been serving on Marion Fire Department?
6 years.
6 years, and you're captain. That's great. So just the fact that you're captain shows that you're a leader, and I appreciate all you do. We're really looking forward to next year to see you compete. How many competitions will you have next year?
I'm for sure doing it 4. Worlds is up in the air, but definitely 4 for sure.
Okay. And what kind of expenses are related to that? Like, what's it like?
Yeah, so you got your entry. You still got to pay the entry. You got your travel costs, food, all that. So it can get expensive. This year, I just got the phone call before Thanksgiving, which was a pretty good call. I'm officially a paid athlete through Lakeland Fire and Safety. So they will be providing some financial help throughout this coming 26 season.
And if somebody wanted to help and contribute to that, how would they go about that?
My wife's got a Venmo set up for myself that we've been using this year. This off season, we're trying to put something together a little bit more, like different tiers of sponsorships. We're still trying to get all that taken care of, selling shirts and stuff like that. So it's still in the planning stage, so we're really gonna hit that this off season for sure.
Well, as soon as you get that, if you mind sharing it, I disseminate that to the council and the public as well, and try to get the community to rally around you, because I mean you're our representative from Marion, and we really appreciate that. So yeah, any council members want to share anything?
Yeah, I know Adam pretty well. We talk a lot. I was going to touch on that morning thing. I think that, I've seen Marion pound for pound. When it was, Wayne and Kim going to the Olympics and things like that, we really get behind our athletes and push and strive to help them do as good as they can. I really would hope that we could get some donations for him to do this. I mean, this takes such a commitment on his part, dieting and exercising, and we probably go to the gym together, but I just don't have a lot of time for that. But anyway, I'm gonna try to get some corporate sponsors locally as well for you this year and help you out on that, because I'm really proud of you, dude. What you're doing is amazing, honestly.
I appreciate it. I love it. That's why I'm doing it. So I'm not doing it to gain any financial or anything. I absolutely love the sport. So that's why I do it. Now I get to represent my community, my county, everything. Believe it or not, there was a lot of competition. I was the only guy from Indiana competing.
Oh, wow. Deputy Chief Overmeyer, are you here? I thought I saw you. There you are, yeah. Did you want to come up and share anything, or?
You guys pretty much covered
Oh, come on up. Well, I know you had some prepared remarks, so I want to give you that opportunity as well.
Is this on? Okay. My name's Eddie Overmeyer, Deputy Chief, Marion Fire Department. First off, I would like to say that, in my opinion, Marion Fire Department is the best fire department in the state of Indiana. Just wanted to get that on record. But as a firefighter and member of the Marion Fire Department, it is the duty to serve the community, to safeguard and preserve the life and property against the elements of fire and disaster, and to maintain a proficiency in the art and science of fire engineering, to showcase professionalism and continually search for new and improved methods, and share the knowledge and skills with successors, safeguarding public's faith and trust, constantly striving to achieve objectives and ideals of a chosen profession of saving lives and fire prevention and fire suppression. These are the ideals of the Marion Fire Department firefighter, and one of our own, Captain Adam Trexler, has risen above and beyond our expectations on this. We are so proud of him and his achievements of getting the, it's called the PJ Bean Rookie of the Year for 2020-25. So we are absolutely ecstatic that what he's achieved, and we look more forward to more from him in 2026.
Thank you, Deputy Chief. Appreciate that. Any other council members before we get a photo?
Just a question. Are you related to Matt?
That would be Matt Trexler?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. We'll make assumptions. Pastor Matt. There you go. How about that? Okay. All right. Well, appreciate you so much. Give him a round of applause. firefighters here, if we can get a photo, and I'll give the camera back. And you're welcome to have wife, family come on up here. Any other firefighters that want to come up as well? Come on up here. Actually, we can just come up here that way. We'll just come forward. Come on up. You can stand right with him. There you go. Come on now. Any other firefighters coming up?
Like you guys have seen him before. What's up, dude?
You're clear to place.
Let's get on our tiptoes. We gotta get in the front.
Here, Peg. Stand on the chair. Pop on. This is making a statement.
Definitely tiptoe.
Not only are you a badass, you're very well liked, apparently. Love it.
Yeah, we're good. All right, everybody ready?
I'm ready. Here we go.
1, 2, 3. All right.
What about the other? Do we need a photo? You good? Thank you.
That's the most people I've ever seen come up here.
Thank you.
I'm off tonight anyway.
Okay. We'll move on to the consent agenda, the approval of minutes of regular meeting November 18th, 2025, consideration of pre-approved claims and consideration of claims. Any discussion? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. President, I move that we pass the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Kane to pass the consent agenda, second by Councilman Cowgill. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Kane.
Aye.
Marshall.
Aye.
Fordyce.
Aye.
Brunner.
Aye.
Klein.
Yes.
Devine.
Yes.
Witten.
Yes.
Cowgill.
Aye.
McKinley.
Yes, consent agenda is approved. Moving on to committee reports. Yes, Councilman Klein.
Yeah, I just want to get out of the way before the Erica Devine segment. And I indulge me, I'm playing catch up because I had to miss all the November meetings because of a family health issue, and thank you for the kind words and thoughts that y'all shared. Anyway, the Marion Board of Aviation Commissioners met November 6th, and on the fuel farm, it's moving along. The design and construction of the Jet A fuel system, the federal grant agreement of $883,737 has been received, and that covers 95% of the total project cost for the Jet A fuel system. The 100 low-lead system, Strebig Construction, is anticipating opening and removing the 100 low-lead tank as early as next month. And Wolpert, the engineering firm that the airport works with, anticipates a pre-construction meeting in December. Now, this is the big news, I thought. The Aviation Academy, they're pursuing a grant for a new education center at the airport. It'll include infrastructure, building construction. The grant is through the Economic Development Administration, and it's for up to $20 million. It's being done in a partnership with the airport, Indiana Wesleyan University, and the city. and it would add space to teach airplane maintenance, increase flight instruction capacity, and add a drone program. It would expand the program significantly, and next board meeting is this coming Thursday, and I'm sure we'll get another update then. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Klein, and welcome back. Any other committee reports? Councilwoman Devine.
I was waiting to see if anybody else had one. Okay, so Board of Works met yesterday, and let me get back to the agenda. They are working on an updated procurement policy for federal grants. So they had a draft brought before them and had some questions on it. And I think I do have the draft now, so I'll forward that to you guys to look at as well. But they wanted to have some basic guidelines for bidding and approving specifically grant funds as they came in. I think that something formal had to be in place with some of the changes going on with all the government oversights and so on. I also wanted to just mention that hopefully everyone will say a quick prayer for Fred Coheep, who is on the Board of Works. I understand he's in poor health today, so just make sure everybody keeps him in your thoughts and prayers. The Utilities Board met 2 weeks ago, the week before Thanksgiving, and they had some on their agenda talking about a variety of different contracts and bids that they were doing. The most specific one was regarding their healthcare. They had their healthcare renewal. They were able to negotiate down to about a 20% increase over last year. There was a couple of customer requests, and then they also approved the 2026 budget, which I believe they reviewed the budget and then will approve it this week at their meeting. And the main increases was due to insurance, and then they had a cost of living salary increase in there. They opened bids for the lime chemicals, and there was a conversation that I'm gonna do some research on and get some more information that had to do with taxes on overtime, and some of it not having that you could deduct it. That's not FSLA overtime, and I hadn't heard that, so I'm going to do a little more research on that as well. And then they started having conversations about the contract on the landfill, because that 10-year contract is coming up to an end. Then we had 2 Public Works Committee meetings, one last week that was on the proposed ordinance for alley paving and the requirements on that. The committee met, and there was some good discussion from other individuals that also attended. Conversations came up about the difference between rolled asphalt and unrolled asphalt, what the process was between aggregate compacting. We were looking at a red line version that was preventing the city from stepping backwards on alleys to require that they be paved going forward, at least for all new construction, and then requiring a plan to be created going forward to get them all up to paving standards. And then there was a whole lot of discussion about the difference in repairs and patches, and so essentially we needed more information that's been sent on with some comments to be reviewed by other individuals within the city, and then we'll have another meeting to go over those changes and comments and see if we can't come up with an ordinance that covers all those things. And then tonight we had a Public Works Committee meeting. It was live streamed on YouTube if you were unable to be here, regarding the proposed request from the utilities on sending out a request to the IURC for the rate review for a possible increase. And they're still here tonight. We do have the public hearing coming up. So Jennifer Wilson with Crow is going to go over the presentation, some of that again, with some of the questions that we had. And then we'll have the public hearing. And the committee decided to just send it back to council with no recommendation, but for us to consider further.
Great, thank you for that. Any other committee reports? Okay, we'll move on to unfinished business. General Ordinance 30-2025, amending monthly water user rates, second reading and public hearing.
An ordinance amending the monthly water user rates and charges for the city of Marion, Indiana. Introducing an ordinance to adopt water rates and charges sufficient to support the utility's ongoing revenue requirements and obligations under Indiana Code 8-1.5-3-8. Speaking, Robin Schrader, Director of Marion Utilities.
Good evening and welcome.
Thank you for allowing us back tonight. A few years ago, Marion Utilities approached the City Council with a request to petition the IURC for a water rate increase. Given that it had been 17 years since the rates had been adjusted previously, the case was relatively easy to make. The result, as you know, was to gradually raise the rate over a period of 5 phases, while simultaneously changing the rate structure from one that made water considerably cheaper for our largest users to one that leveled the playing field. In fact, our most frugal customers likely saw a decrease at the beginning of this process. Despite these efforts, though, our financial situation within the water utility has not effectively improved. It's true that our revenue has increased somewhat, but not enough to keep pace with our operating expenses and debt service. And as yet, we have still not been able to even consider rebuilding our depreciation reserve for capital improvements. Earlier this fall, the wastewater utility loaned the water utility $1.8 million in order to continue meeting our minimum monthly operating balance. However, this is very much a temporary solution, as those funds will soon be needed to continue pursuing our long-term control plan mandates as prescribed by the Indiana Department of Environmental Management. So once again, we turn to our financial consultants at Crow to reevaluate our circumstances and provide us with conclusions and recommendations. Additionally, we run the risk of being penalized with a rate decrease by the IURC for our failure to secure additional bond funding by the end of 2025, which we cannot currently afford. This was a stipulation of the rate agreement in 2023. Given that we showed a deficit of $1.6 million for the 12-month period ending June of 2025, we're left in an impossible position. For these reasons, we ask the City Council to consider approving an ordinance that would allow us to petition the IURC for a rate increase of 44.24% above the already approved 2026 rates. Jennifer Wilson from Crow will share about the financial evaluation process here in a moment, what the IURC looks at, and the precise numbers. But to summarize the real customer impact, here are 3 things you should note. First, this proposal does include consideration for pilot, which would result in our ability to contribute almost $265,000 annually to the city's budget. Second, our need for a rate increase is completely independent of any type of economic prospects which may be looming on the horizon. We've been drawing down our reserves for 10 years and have a long way to go to get caught back up. And third, most of our residential customers use between 3 and 4 units of water each month. That's between $20 and $25 according to the 2026 rate. The proposed change would mean an increase of $6 to $8 a month. So the equivalent of a gourmet coffee drink or an extra value meal once a month. All right, so that's the Cliff Notes version. And I'll turn it over now to Jennifer Wilson, and she'll run through her full financial analysis presentation.
Thank you. Welcome, Jennifer. We'll run through that presentation fairly we'll go a little bit quicker just because we do want to get to that public hearing, and then we can come back for more questions and presentation. Does that sound good?
That sounds good.
You want me to put it on the big screen again?
Yes, please.
All right, let me grab my laptop.
Very good. So as Robin said, we did a rate report, and we looked at the historical financial information. We compared our test year of June 30th, 2025 to December 31st, 24 and 2023, looked through all the financials. We developed a test year and made adjustments to that test year for fixed, known, and measurable items that we saw were coming up in 2026. And we compiled all that together to create the revenue requirements, which includes your operation and maintenance, your taxes other than income taxes, your debt service reserve funding, you're building up the operating fund, you're paying back the operating loan, pay back the loan from the sewage works, and also have monies for annual capital improvements. As Robin said, there's two components to the rate increase. We had already gone in front of the IURC, and you have a rate increase that's a 5-phase rate increase. In January of 2026, you'll be in the 3rd phase of it, and what we're recommending is to pull forward the phases 4 and 5 that were to occur in 2027 and 2028 and have them occur immediately upon approval from the commission, and then an additional approximately 25% over and above that already approved rate increase that's going to be occurring in the future. We would request that that all happens upon approval from the IURC. Some income statement highlights. The numbers over to the left are the year 2023, and that is when you saw the first phase of the rate increase that happened in October of 2023. Your revenues came in at $4.25 million, but your expenses for operating expenses and debt service were $5 million. So that's a deficit of $830,000 that you basically used your cash to pay for those expenses in that year. In 2024, your revenues did increase because you had a full year of the rate increase implemented, and so it got closer. You were at $4.7 million of revenues, but your expenses were closer to $5 million. So that was a deficit of $260,000, and so thus you then again reduce down your balances for that. For our test year ending June 30th of 2025, that also includes an increase that happened, or that continues the increase that happened in 2025, and we saw just under $5 million, but your expenses increased to $5,350,000. So you're continuing to decline and are not able to gain that you have more revenues than expenses for just operating and for debt service. This does not count any capital items that you would have paid for out of revenues. So you're basically depleting your balances. So we looked at the test year ending June 30th of 2025 and looked at what was coming up here for 2026. In 2020, our test year, it was $5.2 million as your operating expenses and taxes. We're proposing an increase of approximately $830,000 up to just over $6 million. That $830,000 includes a $265,000 payment in lieu of taxes that would be paid to the city. It also increases salaries and wages and benefits by approximately $120,000, includes a bad debt expense of $130,000. Contractual expenses are going up by $160,000, rate case expense of $70,000, and purchase power is increasing by $40,000. Insurance also rounds that out to for the $832,000 of $50,000 increase over the test year. Now, the reason why we're needing a rate increase now is when we went through the rate process before, your operation and maintenance and taxes was just under $4 million. In our pro forma 2026 expenses, it will increase to just above $6 million, so a $2 million increase. What that $2 million comprise of between our test year of March of 2022 to our pro forma year of year-end 2026 is salaries and wages and benefits increased by $740,000, contractual expenses increased by $300,000, materials and supplies increased by $200,000. We're including that pilot, which has not been paid before, of $265,000. Insurance increases by $140,000, chemical by $127,000, bad debt of $128,000, and the rate cases expense of $70,000. So overall, $2 million increase in operation and maintenance from our prior case to the current case. Now, I like looking at this screen because it shows your adjusted operation and maintenance on the percentages of where those operation, maintenance, and taxes are going towards. So your employee costs are about 47%. And in our break from the previous presentation to now, I looked at some other communities, and typically the employee cost ranges from 40% to 60% for other communities that I've worked with. Your second largest cost is contractual service at 16% and chemicals at 12%. Now, you did benefit a few years ago when you got the state revolving fund loan. And so we had gone in with the case that we thought your debt service was going to be about $930,000, but you received about $3.5 million in benefits financing from the state revolving fund loan program. So your actual debt service, after you funded all your debt service reserve, is about $250,000 less than what was projected in the case before. So that was a benefit that you guys got a reduced debt service, but you don't get to capitalize upon it because they expect you to true up that rate. So if we don't go forward with a rate increase, we actually will see a rate decrease even though you need more money for operating. And that was just part of the settlement negotiations that were made when we went through the IURC, the last case. So overall, this shows your revenue requirements, that your operation and maintenance is the large blue item. We also have taxes other than income taxes. You have your 2024 debt service. You're funding your debt service reserve. You're going to pay back the loan to the sewage works, and you're going to build up your operating fund balance. And there will also be some monies for ongoing extensions and replacements at the level of your depreciation expense. I know there's a small numbers here, but what we're trying to show here is what you had put in your previous rate order. You did a cost of service study last time where you basically reduced all your rate blocks down to one rate. So we're proposing that your increase for 2026, your phase 3 is going in. We accelerate the 2027 and 2028 increases so that your flow charge will be $5.50 per 100 cubic feet. Your monthly customer charge will be $7.45. And your 5/8 and 3/4 inch customers will pay $5.10 for a fire protection charge. So on the typical monthly bill analysis that you see on the next page, as Robin said, currently, as of 2025, the 300 cubic feet users are charged $20. It will go up automatically on January 1st by $1.13, and we're proposing that it goes up by another $8.37, as just an example.
Thank you. A moment here. Okay. Any council members want to have a discussion prior to public hearing, or would you like to go to public hearing?
I had just a couple
Go
clarifying
ahead.
questions real quick. So the test year is 12 months, so it was June 30th of 24 to June 30th of 25?
July 1st of 24 to June 30th of 2025, yes.
Okay. And then the overall numbers we were looking at were from March 22nd to January 26th.
Yeah, so that previous test year would have been April 1st of 2022 no, sorry, April 1st of 2021 to March 31st of 2022.
Okay, so those total amount of increases, the 2 million,
Yes,
is over a period of 4 years?
correct.
Okay. And then the total revenue that you had projected on the slide showed at 8 million, is that's at the end of this rate increase that we're asking for?
Correct,
That
correct.
that amount will cover up to,
Basically $8.2 million. It's
Okay.
your total revenue requirements of all your expenses, and then your revenue would equal your total expenses.
okay, but that would not be, but that's the additional 24,
That includes the additional,
Okay.
almost 25% increase, yes.
okay, okay, yep, thank you.
Any other questions before we go to public hearing?
Maybe I'm oversimplifying, but if this doesn't happen, then the regulators likely or will tell you, cut your rates even though you're hurting already, according to you guys?
Yes, according to our settlement agreement, we're supposed to file a new tariff after we true up the debt service that did not occur in 2025. So we would need to make a report, excuse me, to the regulators that we did not issue that debt, and according to that settlement, they could decrease our rates for that $250,000 decrease that we did not take on.
How much might they reduce them, and then what effect does that have on doing business?
I don't know that overall percentage, I just know it's a $250,000 difference. So basically, we would have to cut another $250,000 because you have depleted all the cash balances at the utility.
And they give you how long to make those cuts?
The rate tariff would need to be in effect of, we would need to work with the regulators
Immediately?
immediately.
All right.
I have a question off of that. Who negotiated this into, I mean, this is insanity. Who would negotiate, you know what, if we don't do this, we'll take a rate decrease? Where does this come from? Who advised for this to happen?
Right, so I explained the IURC process. Usually if it's a fully litigated case, it might go 10 to 12 months. So a lot of times the utility, if there's not a lot of fighting back and forth between the utility and the OUCC about what that might be, will come to an agreement or a settlement, and generally to get rates in place so that the cash will increase immediately for the utility that's already been waiting 8-9 months to get that into place, will agree to the terms that the OUCC will put out.
So whose idea was this? Was it their idea? I'm just trying to understand the reasoning behind this.
So basically, the OUCC came back and said, we'll accept your rate increase, but we want you to true up, and we want this one line item to, if you don't make that line item, you will decrease your rates.
So is the logic behind it from their point of view that we're allowing you to increase rates based on the information you give us, but if the information you give us doesn't pan out and your finances aren't managed, or you run out of money, then essentially we think you didn't really need this and we're going to make you lower your rate. I'm trying to understand the logic behind that.
Let me add one little piece to this. So the amount of the loan that we agreed to with the 2023 settlement was based on engineers' estimates for 5 projects simultaneously. The bids for those 5 simultaneous projects came in below what we anticipated. So that's what created that discrepancy in what we thought we needed versus what actually happened. And we didn't have a way to predict that beforehand because we had to wait until after all those funding things were approved before we could have the bids.
So they're saying because the bids came in lower, somewhere they negotiated that if you don't need this money, then you will need to lower your rate.
Correct.
Is that correct?
They were basically doing a one-line item, let's true up this one line item and instead of taking you holistically. And that is something that we argue with the OUCC, but again, in order to settle and move the case along and get your revenue started as soon as possible, we agreed to the term of what they proposed.
Okay, it's making more sense. I understand their position then. They're basically trying to protect the users to say, don't overcharge them. Since your bids came in lower, if X, Y, and Z doesn't happen, you have to lower the rates. However, now you're saying the conditions have changed in other areas. It's now requiring us to consider increasing the rate, which is separate from the issue of why they would lower the rate. It's something separate. Am I following here?
That is correct, yeah.
Okay. Okay. That answers that question. Thank you. Other council members before we go to public hearing? We'll go ahead and go to public hearing. We'll open it up right now. If you'd like to speak on this general ordinance 30-2025, you're welcome to make your way to the microphone. Good evening. If you could just state your name and your address, and you have 3 minutes.
703 Swayze. I just want to say, sitting here, not having a real good hearing and not real good eyesight, I really couldn't understand 99% of what was presented. All right. There should be something in writing that we can look at and we can observe and to study whenever it comes to these kind of things. Another thing, when I hear 46% of my water bill is going to go up, that's quite a bit. But then I understand, am I not correct, that is just the water we use?
Correct.
So it's not $500 water bill now, it's not going to go $146. All right, that makes it a little bit clearer to me. And I think if we left it without that, some people would say, hey, my water bill is going to go up 46%, and that's way too much. So as far as raising rates, we all need more expenses because everybody charges more, all right, regardless of what we do. Labor goes up, expenses goes up, electric bill goes up, the gas bill goes up. So I can understand the situation they're in. All the legal technicalities that you brought up didn't mean anything to me, but I will say that I would approve of what goes on. Thank you.
Thank you. Microphone's still open if you'd like to speak. All right, I am not seeing anyone else make their way to the microphone. Last chance. Okay, we'll close the public hearing. Any council members with further questions, discussion, comment? I will make just a clarification. We did have about an hour and 40-minute committee meeting prior to this that we went into a lot of detail. Members of the public, you're welcome to watch it. It was streamed on YouTube. It's recorded on YouTube. There was a lot. We dug into a lot more detail, and you're welcome to watch that to get more information as well. Appreciate both of them being here that whole time and answering a lot of questions, and we really dug in deep and try to simplify some of the questions and answers and understanding where this at. At the end of the day, we're the elected officials, the only elected officials that have any oversight over the utilities, and so it lies within us. And so I do believe we have a duty to vet any requests for rate increases. That is our fiduciary responsibility. And so any question about this is a good question, because if one of us is thinking it, that means other people are as well. So any council members with other questions or clarifications? I know we had some questions during committee meeting. We're going to hopefully get some more answers from any other council members.
question. The questions we had for you, the information we said we wanted, can we get that by the next meeting? So if this goes to third reading, or is it wiser to send it back to committee? Can you get us that information in time?
That information should be pretty easy to come by, but in reality, the financial reporting for the utility has always been public information and has been distributed, so it's actually already out there, but we're happy to compile that and can put that together pretty quickly.
So if we still have phase 3, which is starting January 1, and then 4 technically is January 1 of 27 and 5 January 1 of 28. If this did not get approved, those rates are gonna still go up. So would they not say we didn't approve something or they didn't think it was necessary? Would they do a rate adjustment as soon as 26 and those phased-in amounts would be different? Or would those still be going up in those amounts and we'd see a change in 28?
There we go. So what our request is going to be is to vacate that phase 4 and 5 and not do those 2 phases, and instead basically pull everything to increasing the rates as soon as we get an order here in 2026. So phase 3 is going into effect, and then the overall combination of what we'd already had plus an additional 25% would be requested to start. And if it goes like the last case, we file the case in January, you have rates in place by October. So it would be later on in the year of 2026.
But if we don't, say we don't agree to doing the rate study, then it's status quo. It stays at the next 3 phases.
Correct. If you don't do, well, other than the fact that we would need to report to them that we did not do that debt, and so it could be possibility that the rate would actually go down by $250,000. The revenues would go down by additional $250,000.
So potentially the phase 4 and 5 could be a little bit less.
Correct.
Because we'd have to account for that
decrease, yes.
Decrease, which is a very tiny percentage of your overall revenue. So we're not talking a ton to do a true up. Do we have kind of that? I'm just curious, do we have that percentage as to what that would be?
I don't have that.
Okay.
I don't do that number in my head very well, but yes, but basically, yes, instead of our overall increase revenues, it would need to decrease by $250,000 out of our, I think it's 4.4 million that we're bringing in about now.
Okay. But if we do agree to do the rate study, then, like you said, we're then forfeiting phase 4 and 5 in the hopes that they'll come back with the increased amount, but they could come back with just what rate, they could come back with any amount up to that maximum amount. So in theory, we could be asking them to do this review, and they could come back and tell us, nope, you're still good with the original percentage that's left. I mean, I based on the numbers, I'm not seeing that, but I'm just trying to think of possibilities. I don't know if that even made sense the way I said that.
No, it did make sense, but I mean, yes, we would be going in with our testimony of describing all the operating expenses and where they are and where they're at $6 million, and we would be describing what happened with the debt, how you received the benefit of having debt service actually go down. So our revenue requirement lines have changed from the last case. What we wanted to still accomplish was getting your cost of service study, which was implemented in the last case, which where you were getting rid of your declining rate blocks and going to one block. So that's why we're asking to accelerate what's already happened, so you don't need to redo that cost of service study, accelerate it to the point where you had a full cost of service study implemented, what we agreed to in the last case, and we also need additional funds.
A question, So during the committee meeting, we kind of got into about the salaries and wages, the 740,000. Then you came back and said, no, that's not correct, and you gave me a different number. But just now, back through the presentation, you said materials increased 200,000, insurance 140,000, wages and salary 740,000. When you said insurance 140,000, what insurance? Health insurance? Because then the committee meeting, you'd said that the health insurance is factored into the 740,000 number as well.
That's probably your general liability insurance that has gone up
It's gone up 140,000?
between the prior case and this case in 4 years.
What are we spending annually on liability insurance?
I would need to get that data for you. I don't have the exact number.
And who's the carrier? Do we know the carrier? Liberty Mutual?
Liberty Mutual.
Has that been shopped around? Yes. And they're still the most competitive rate after 140,000 increase?
The year for that is a little bit different. It's not January to December. It's a spring situation. And so yes, we continuously look at that, but we're not at the right time of year to be looking currently, if that makes sense.
What is for general liability, is that for repairs, or is that just
That's
liability, people coming on the property? Does that include workers' comp? What does that all include?
Buildings, vehicles, the facility itself, all of our structures and rolling stock. It's quite a bit.
Okay, but back to the wages and salaries, the 740,000 you'd said just a moment ago during the committee meeting, you said 740, but then corrected it and changed it. But then now you just said 740,000 again for the increase for wages and salaries. So I'm
Yes.
trying to figure out where this number really is.
Right. I wrote down 742 as the increase in salaries and wages on my notes
From
for
last
describing
year to this new
for
year.
describing between what happened in the prior rate case. So what's happened in 4 years is salaries and wages and benefits has increased by $742,000. In 4 years.
In 4 years?
In 4 years.
Did we hire additional people, or is this just raises?
Well, it's raises, but it's also benefits. So it's also the health insurance going up, the FICA going up, the PERF going up. So as you increase wages, your PERF will also go up by 11.2%. Your FICA will go up by 7.65%. So for each dollar, an increase that someone gets in wages, you're actually going up by, what, $1.20 for at least benefits, just PERF and for FICA. And then you add on to that any increases with health insurance over and above that.
And the fire protection charge, where does that money go that's collected?
Right. So when they did the cost of service study, they identified what it cost to actually provide fire protection services through the hydrants and servicing of those hydrants and other items that are in allocated costs for fire protection. And then they divided it by the total number of users of your community and came up with the charge of what that fire protection charge is. And then it's a graduated amount going up based on what size meter it is.
Great, thank you. This may be a question for Robin. I'm still getting stuck on the projection. So from 2023, the council at the time, I wasn't on at the time, so I can't speak to that, approved the steady rate increase. The projections and the advice came from where for that rate increase?
Our financial advisors at Crow and also Stan Tech who did the rest of that study for us.
who handles the finances and the books for the water utilities?
Well, we have our accounting specialist, a coordinator at the plant, and then Jennifer Wilson works closely with her on a regular basis.
When was the last time the water utility had a balanced budget or a balanced books at the end of the year?
When we put together the budgets on an annual basis, what we try to do is zero those budgets. And what I mean by that is if our expenses, our projected expenses are $5 million, just say that, for example, and our revenue is coming in at 4.5, then that additional $500,000 would need to come out of our cash reserves. And that's the process by which we have depleted the cash reserves over the course of the last 10 years.
But it should all reconcile though, right? At the end of the year?
Well, yes, and it does, except that it's continuing to reduce those cash reserves, and in some instances, it's reducing cash reserves more than what we anticipated because expenses were more than what we anticipated.
Or specifically, so, I know there's an audit done every year. The city gets an audit, utilities gets an audit. I've been on the council 2 years, and the 2 years I've been here, the audit comes back that the books aren't even or balanced. So how long has it been since they've been balanced?
So there's been a discrepancy. Jennifer might be able to speak to this a little bit better.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, there's a difference between in your bank rec versus the cash fund balances, and that's happened basically since you adopted the latest billing program in 2015. So there's been accumulation for the past 10 years of unable to locate the differential that happened between what was the cash versus what was put in the bank because of the differentials that are happening in the background in the billing program. Since Tiffany Snyder has taken over in 2021, she has been able to identify and reduce that so that when at the end of each month, it might be off by $200 and we can't find that she can't find that $200, but then the next month is up by $200. So she has been able to locate and reduce down the differential while she's been the bookkeeper.
Do you find this same issue other places, other utilities? It just seems odd. I'm not placing blame anywhere. I'm just to trust the data. That's why we balance it, and that's why every year that the audit's done, you get dinged or whatever the terminology would be. It's not looked upon favorably. So is this a common thing? I just know, are we an anomaly or is this pretty normal?
What I think happened is that you made it to 2021 and things hadn't really been reconciled. And so then when Tiffany took over, there was a large adjustment or unreconciled difference. And without going back from scrubbing it from the very beginning when this billing system went into effect in 2015 to now, and it's very hard to find. It's like 3 cents off with a customer. You can't. And so then it's very hard to find what's happening in the machinations in the computer in the background. It's very difficult to find, so it's been great that she's been able to reconcile it to the point where it's a minimal amount. Most utilities will then write off that $200 difference on a monthly basis, but we're talking about a 10-year accumulation of small amounts, so now it's a large amount.
Okay. So then my next question would be, where has the board been this entire time? The board's essentially the oversight of utilities, so maybe it's a very high question that maybe no one can answer in here, but where's the board been this entire time with the oversight? The council appoints 2 people to the board, the mayor appoints people to the board. There's a responsibility, and I know you've just been in this position a short time, but does the board have responsibility to oversee this, trying to figure out how do we fix this? Because it's been an issue since I got on the council. It's been talked about a lot. We're coming, we're looking at I'll call it, it's a substantial rate increase, even though it's only $6 to $8, but percentage-wise, it's pretty large. And to some people, $6 to $8 is pretty hefty. But I'm just trying to understand, where's the oversight? Has this been brought to the board? Where has it fallen through the cracks that this has not been corrected in 10 years?
Well, I don't know that it's fallen through the cracks. I think that there has been a lot of discussion specifically about this issue with the reconciliation problem. We've talked quite a bit with State Board of Accounts about this as well. And it largely has been a software complication, not a misuse of funds. So there's a big difference there between a software glitch and a misuse or a misappropriation of funds. State Board of Accounts has complimented us on every other front for the way that we've maintained things. So in that sense, we've done that. Essentially, the board has participated as much as they've had an opportunity to participate. What's been shared with them, they have handled and they have dealt with. There have been a handful of folks who have specifically asked a lot of questions, and the way that those questions have been answered, the matters kind of have been settled and moved on from. So that's what I've witnessed as assistant director, and then over the course of this last year, we've been working on trying to get some things shored up a little bit. We do have a plan in place to adjust our billing and accounting software going forward in 2026. We have a company identified that we're going to move to, such that the accounting problem should stop at that point. This company is much more capable of handling utilities, much like ourselves, where we've got one umbrella covering 4 separate entities at the same time.
We answered my next question, or I would have said, it sounds like you need to change software. So I'm not trying to put blame anywhere. I'm just trying to figure it out. I mean, we get asked these questions as council members, so I'm relaying that to you as well. So that's all I have. Any other council members? Vice President Fordyce.
I think, and also that, like Robin spoke on, there are a lot of extenuating circumstances also, like the huge main break on Kim Road, which wasn't expected, and there's been other extenuating circumstances on mandates by the state and IDEM that have come to fruition, and they have had to use cash reserves. So I applaud you for bringing this to us and getting it straightened out, and hopefully that we can continue down the road without having to every single year or every few years creating more of a problem, and we can build up our operating capital and our reserves to the point to where we don't have to keep doing this. I know a lot of it was mandated, and then there was some stuff that wasn't expected at all, like the main breaks and there's several other situations around town where that's happened also that were unexpected.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go 10 years without maintaining a system, without capital improvement projects, and then not have problems begin to happen after that. And so on that front, we're kind of fighting against time.
Sure. So I appreciate you bringing this to us and remedying the problem and realizing that we do have an issue. I appreciate the water and the service that you guys do, and I know that the rest of the city and constituents do. So hopefully we can move forward on this and correct it. Thank you.
Other council members? So I know there were some questions asked during the committee meeting, some answers that were, I think, some data we need. So if you could get that to us within the next week, would that be possible? Okay. Councilman Marshall? Oh, I thought you raised your hand, sorry. Well, we could either take this to third reading. Well, I guess we could take it to third reading either way. unless other council members also want to send it to committee again to have a further discussion before the third reading. Any consensus on that? Any thoughts? Well, for sure, we're going to send it third reading. I'm just saying, as long as the council wants to go to third reading. But do we want to send it to committee again or just go to third reading? Anyone have a preference either way?
I would think as long as they would get that information to us before the third meeting, I think that would be sufficient for me as what I would request.
So if we can get the information, that'd be great. Any of the council members with any disagreement? Or I will say if we can get the data, great. If we can't get the data by the third reading, then at the third reading, then I would request that we move it to the next meeting and send it to committee. So essentially, go to a third reading, so long as we get the data and we have the discussion. It could potentially end that day, but we could always table it, third reading to another meeting, if we don't have the right information in time.
You accept a motion?
I do.
I move, what is this, General Ordinance 30, 2025. I move we pass it along to third reading.
Second.
A motion to pass General Ordinance 30-2025 to third reading by Councilman Klein, second by Vice President Fordyce. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Kane?
Aye.
Marshall?
Aye.
Fordyce?
Aye.
Brunner?
Aye.
Klein?
Yes.
Devine?
Yes.
Witten?
Yes.
Cowgill?
Aye.
McKinley?
Yes, this will move on to a third reading at the next city council meeting, and we look forward to getting that data ahead of time so we have time to evaluate it and have further discussion at the next meeting. Moving on to new business, General Ordinance 31-2025, ordinance amending order of business, first reading.
An ordinance of the Marion Common Council amending order of business on the Marion City Council agenda. The purpose of this ordinance is to consolidate the community spotlight and city employee spotlight on the council agenda down to just recognition-spotlight. Speaking, Nick McKinley, Council President.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Yes, brought this to the council. It's pretty cut and dry. The purpose, we've been doing 2 spotlights, which is great. Just wanted to say I think it'd be good to go down to just a spotlight, one to help cut with meeting time, but also, sometimes it's not always easy to get a community spotlight or a city employee spotlight. So if we just do spotlight, we can use it for any category also. And I said this in my email, we could probably finagle this under one of the categories, but I think it would be, I would love for the council to spotlight dispatchers, city utility employees as well, under just spotlight. Because technically, are they city employees? No, they're not community. So just, that's why. Just going down to one spotlight on the agenda. That's my purpose. That's my reason. Anyone with questions?
If you're ready for a motion, Mr.
Sure, I'll take a
President.
motion.
I move that we pass General Ordinance Number 31, 2025 to a second reading and public hearing.
Second.
Motion to pass General Ordinance 31, 2025 to second reading public hearing by Councilman Kane, a second by Councilman Brunner. Any other discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Kane?
Aye.
Marshall?
Aye.
Fordyce?
Aye.
Brunner?
Aye.
Klein?
Yes.
Devine?
Yes.
Witten?
Yes.
Cowgill?
Aye.
McKinley?
Yes. General Ordinance 31, 2025 will go to second reading public hearing at the next council meeting. And moving into announcements, the Walkway of Lights Family Night, December 12th, 2025 from 7 to 9 p.m. And also the Marion Common Council still accepting resumes for the attorney position and cover letters. As for clarity, Mr. Harker has not resigned. It's just on an annual basis. We open it up for the public every year. We have received one resume so far, and that it closes December 5th at noon, and this is for the entire 2026 year. So any resumes and cover letters need to be in by this Friday at noon to the city clerk's office. You can drop it off there or email it. You can even email it to councilpresident@cityofmarion.in.gov. And then also, Mike Graft asked me to make this announcement as well. Let me pull it up. So there's a two-way traffic public hearing Wednesday, December 10th at 6 p.m. right here in the council chambers. It says the City of Marion invites you to hear the vision for converting Washington and Adams Street, as well as First Street from one-way to two-way beginning downtown. They're just wanting public input. They encourage public input at this meeting. And so again, that's Wednesday, December 10th at 6 p.m. I can tell you the Redevelopment Commission did commission a study for downtown to look at one-way versus two-way. This kind of goes back to our discussion on the council about that Second Street street changes. That's what kind of prompted that discussion, and so this is part of that process that the Redevelopment Commission has commissioned to be studied on. Do we convert some or all of the streets downtown to two-way? Obviously 18, that's the state highway, we can't touch that, but everything else is being looked at. That's it. And any other announcements from council members?
December 10th at 6 p.m.
Yes.
Thank you.
Wednesday, December 10th, 6 p.m. right here in the council chambers. I think the consultants, whoever was hired, is hosting that. So it's not a council meeting, but they encourage you to come in and provide input. Any other announcements? I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Motion to adjourn by Councilman Kane, a second by Councilman Klein. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call.
Kane?
Aye.
Marshall?
Aye.
Fordyce?
Aye.
Brunner?
Aye.
Klein?
Yes.
Devine?
Yes.
Witten?
Yes.
Cowgill?
Aye.
McKinley?
Yes, meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for coming.